All right, let's see here. Congratulations, by the way, on your win. You went in there very, very zen into that fight with Joanna.
Yeah. It's all about controlling yourself. If you can control yourself, there's nothing, that it's really hard for somebody else's game plan to affect you.
Were you becoming affected at any point, and then decided like I have to adopt this attitude, or what got you to that point?
It was definitely there were moments where I was always constantly being challenged, not just by her, but just my own thoughts and my own doubts and things like that. That's just natural going into every fight. But I just stuck with the game plan. We've been studying Joanna for many years. We knew this day was coming, so I knew what to expect for the most part. There's always some type of surprise, but we know her pretty well.
And also talk about mentally strong. Didn't they mess up your walkout song? Like if you're a superstitious type of person, that could really screw you up.
Right.
Is that true that they messed that up?
Dude, that made me so mad, because I literally, because of how negative the energy had been for the longest time, not just with the fight build up, but just like the world in general with the news and stuff. Like I have to stop watching the news because seriously, it's always just negativity going on. So for me, I wanted a positive, like upbeat walkout song, and I chose Michael McDonald's "Sweet Freedom." And so I was telling Pat, like all week, I was like, man, I just can't wait till they play my walkout song. That's all I'm really looking forward to, so I could like jam out. And then when it comes down to it, they ended up playing something different. Even in the moment, I was like, I hear some music playing, but that's definitely not my song. And so I was kind of confused if I should even start walking, and then I made that realization a few seconds in, like, nope, they messed it up. So, all right.
How did they mess it up?
Everybody in this arena, I'm sick of this bullshit. You know what I mean? So, anyway.
How did they mess it up, Rose? Is it the song title similar?
No, it wasn't even close. I really don't know how that happened. I was told it was just, a mistake, an accident. So, I don't know. I have no idea.
That's fucked up. I hope somebody got fired for that.
That's right. Or at least beaten.
And,
That's huge,
and I got
man.
the wrong size gloves at first, too. I told them ahead of time I'm a bantamweight size. My hands are a little bit bigger, so I need bantamweight gloves. And I ended up getting strawweight gloves, so then we had to, do the switcheroo, and it was only, we didn't have that much time. We got to the arena late, so it was, a series of events that was like, damn, man, can I get a break?
But almost other things, though, it's odd sometimes when these things happen. Other annoyances that almost focus your energy, and you're not necessarily thinking about, I have to get in the octagon with Joanna and Jedrejczyk. Sometimes those things are healthy because they occupy your mind with something else for a little while.
Oh, totally. And, that's kind of something that I'm used to. I mean, I grew up, with for some reason, I don't know what it is about Milwaukee, but, the way that I grew up, I've grown accustomed to dealing with chaos. And then you kind of get addicted to this chaos in your life. And so now with seeing my life is a lot different now. It's much more balanced and healthy and stable. So that's something I've also had to get used to is things going right in my life. That's it's okay. Everything's okay, and that doesn't mean that something bad's necessarily going to happen. So for me, it's an adjustment period, and that's definitely going to be the challenge this time. It's okay, maybe everything's going to be perfect, and that's why I'm going to be nervous, because nothing is going wrong, but. And I kind of just make up things in my mind, but that's just part of growth, and that's part of learning how to deal with things.
Now let me ask you. You say you're addicted to chaos or whatever, and I do understand that. Do you now when you're with Pat, who I happen to love very much, are you more likely to look for things to be crazy and start an argument because you're used to chaos, or are you comfortable being zen?
Our relationship has definitely gone through a lot of growth over the years. Man, he's definitely one for, picking at my, anxiety and and I guess joking about, just my paranoia about something bad happening all the time. It's not necessarily towards him. I'm actually harder on myself than I am towards him. So that's something that he's hard on me about, if that makes any sense. It's just yeah, but, yeah, nowadays I think I've grown a lot, and I've learned to kind of deal with that, and we've I don't know. We're like an old couple right now.
You know, it's funny. I find it hard to be relaxed a lot of times, and I look for things to be wrong when they're not. Like that anxiety addiction is crazy. Oh, by the way, what are you going to do with your music now on this next fight? Because you did win, a very, very decisive victory. Are you going to keep the song, or are you going back to what you had?
No, I'm probably gonna change it because like almost every fight I've changed it. Like only like I think twice did I go to the same walkout song. But for the most part, I've always changed my song. And this time I really am enjoying this song. And like I said, it might change again just because I'm so interested in music that it's hard for me to just pick one thing. So the song that I'm really enjoying right now is called "Sleepy Language" by Leo and Bushwacka, and it's like this crazy synth beat with like, you know, this bass line that's just sick as hell. And so I really enjoy beats like that get me moving and that I can shadow box to and stuff.
Okay, now you
Jimmy's writing it down.
I am. If Rose likes it, I like it. That's the rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Now listen, I had you picked to beat Joanna. I had you picked to beat her by submission. I thought you were going to take her back because you're dangerous on the back. No one saw a tap due to strikes in the first round. I don't think anybody would have picked that.
Right.
What exactly?
I mean,
sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. I mean, that's like my goal every time I go into the fight. I focus on punch them in the face, take their back, and choke them out. And you know that it always kind of happens that way almost every time. It just depends on the person, the situation, and how it ends up happening. I kind of did end up taking her back and maybe choking her with strikes, like figuratively. Like, I mean, she did end up tapping up, like whether she was conscious or unconscious. It's just how it happened. But it's funny because that's what I always say going into every fight, and that's what ended up happening.
How did she look when you were standing up with her for that brief, what was it, minute? Was she faster than you thought she would be? Like, because you're finally in there with the undefeated champion. I think she was 14-0 at that point. Was there any surprises in how she struck? Did she not hit as hard as you thought, or was she a little faster than you expected?
In the striking department, she's kind of what I expected. Very, very on the beat, very like traditional kickboxing style. So that was no surprise. But when I actually grabbed her body, like when I clinched up with her, I was surprised that I was so like it kind of felt she felt very similar to when I fought JoJo Calderwood in the Ultimate Fighter, where I felt like I was very tempted to like just manipulate her body and just keep wrestling, but I remember that was the game plan, is to let her go and strike with her.
Wow, that's an amazing game plan. I got to be honest. It's like Ali throwing right-hand leads against Foreman. No one saw that coming. No one saw that coming. So great job by your coaches.
Yeah, you gotta think outside the box. You definitely. I mean, it doesn't mean you put yourself in bad positions, but we definitely knew that was a hole in her game. I don't think she's ever really fought somebody that was as skilled as I am in the striking department. So that was part of the game plan the whole time.
Now, Joanna is very, very confident / cocky, especially in that last build-up between the both of you. Do you feel, because of the way the first fight went and how you took care of business, how do you feel she's going to approach this one? Did you ever give that any thought? You think she's going to be in your face the way she was, or do you think she's going to be a little more laid back?
I think she's got to say something. I know she's probably going to say something. She's still, she right after the fight, she was, right back in the press, and I have, respect for that she was able to get right back out there and show her face to the world and face it. But
right.
To me, I think it's it's not really much of my concern. That's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm not really expecting her to be this quiet, silent killer type. But if she does end up doing that, that's welcomed as well. I think what I am expecting is just a better version of herself, and that's what I'm preparing for. And I'm preparing to be the best version of myself ever. So that's all really that I can depend on.
Hey, Rose, after you won, you obviously, I guess you and your opponent hugged. Did she say anything to you?
Oh, after I won, did she say something to me?
Yeah. Did she say anything to you?
After the press, she went to the press conference and we crossed paths in the hallway. She, kind of just gave me a head nod, shook my hand, and said, "Congratulations, all the best to you." And then that was pretty much it. And then she, walked off. Obviously, that's a lot to deal with, after being so dominant. So that's, really all that was said. And, you know, it was cool. So, you know, I don't expect anything different. I don't expect her to necessarily, I expect her to respect me more, but I think she's going to still try and be who she was, try to be the Boogie Woman again. And it's not going to work though.
I'll be honest. I think there's always pressure on the champion when defending, but I think there's a tremendous amount of pressure on her because she was undefeated. You've dealt with loss before. You understand how to rebound, how to get your confidence back if it was shaken at all. How she handles this, not after a decision loss, not even after a choke, after a tap due to strikes in the first round. That's something that most people didn't expect. How does she handle? I think there's a tremendous amount of pressure on her in this rematch.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. Like, she's kind of, you know, saying that. I think she's taking the pressure off just a little bit by saying the weight cut.
Sure.
Talking about that because obviously I think it's very important, you know, for fighters to cut weight healthy and not to do too much. So, but yet we're still fighting at 115. So. That can be a concern, you know. Hopefully she does it right. You know, we don't, obviously the goal is to, you know, inflict damage on our opponent. But at the end of the day, you know, I want them to go back to their families, you know, happy, healthy, and safe, and me as well. So we'll see. You know, hopefully something maybe went wrong the last time. We'll see. But I know for a fact that there's more to it than just a weight cut. I know for a fact that in order to catch up with what I've learned, I've had to go and reinvent myself, and I don't think that there's going to be enough time for that. So we'll see. Now,
did you hear that Karolina Kowalkiewicz stuck up for you? Did you hear what she said?
No, what did she say?
She said recently about Joanna's weight cutting comments. She said, this is Karolina. She said, for me, it's nonsense and justification of herself. I don't know. Maybe it makes her feel better about it. And she's able to lift it somehow psychologically. In fact, every fighter cuts the weight, and it's not pleasant for anyone. And she puts the guilt on her dietary team. Doesn't Joanna use her brain? If Joanna felt that something was wrong and had too much weight to cut, then I don't understand something. In my opinion, it's just one big fraud. So she's really, her heart is with you, she said, Karolina.
Yeah, I've always liked Karolina. You know, she's a great competitor, and it'd be cool maybe one day to rematch her and avenge that loss against her. But, you know, I mean, there could be some truth to what she's saying. I don't really know for a fact. I like to take people's word for it, you know, especially if I'm going into a fight against them. I like to, you know, I don't like to draw my own conclusions or assumptions. So because there's a lot we don't know, right? But we know for a fact that weight cutting is never good. But I think Joanna does belong at 125. I mean, if I've heard of rumors that she cuts, like she's always had a hard weight cut, not just this fight. So, you know, it's just something that I don't think I don't agree with. I don't cut that much weight myself. I walk around at 125, and then by fight week, I'm around 120, and I still drink water. You know, I just don't eat solid food. So that's the important way to weight cut. So I think I don't know. I just hope she does it healthy this time, and let's pray that happens, and she's the best version of herself, and I can prove that I'm the best in the world.